If I may, to Francesca Lacamera, the Director General of the International Renewable Energy Agency. Francesco, I know that you have taken on the task of making the agency more action-oriented and pushing to make these new investments really happen. Could you tell us, from your perspective, how are we doing on that transition? And even more specifically, how about Azerbaijan?
So concerning, thanks for the question. I will try to be very brief. Concerning where we are with the transition, it's very simple to say, it is clear the transition is in place, but it's not in place at the scale and speed that is needed. I think we all have to base our reasoning on science. The science say that if you want to stay in a path that is consistent with the achievement of the Paris Agreement goals, we should have a reduction of 45% of CO2 emission by 2030. And for getting this reduction, we have to phase out coal and see peaking oil already, gas in 2025. And having 11 terawatt of renewable energy in 2030. So it means that we have been called to deploy 1,000 gigawatts of renewables every year. So last year was a record year, 473 gigawatts, 30% more than the previous year. Just to give an idea of the scale of this. It means that renewable capacity has been increased in 1 year, installed 20% more capacity than nuclear energy in the last 70 years. And also if the call at the COP to triple nuclear energy capacity by 2050, it will mean that nuclear will cover something between 2 and 4% of the total final energy consumption. So this is not just a number. So we had a new record that was half what we needed. So we have to accelerate this path. In this, I think that the COP29, talking about Azerbaijan, will be very, very relevant. It will be the enabling COP, covering the new financial targets, new financial goal, that will be very difficult to get, but I hope that they will be able to get. But also, I think, should be a path into the reality. Next year, February 2025, countries should present a new edition of the National Determined Contribution. So this commitment has to be able to close the existing gap if you want to stay in the path consistent with the Paris Agreement goal. On this, there are two elements that I wish to present to your attention. Something that we have to have always clear in our understanding. First, the inequalities. Consider that, for example, thinking about the current capacity, energy capacity, renewable capacity, we have that a G20 have 3,000 gigawatts. The G7, so a portion of it, 980. Africa, 62. The global share is that 80% is in G20, 25% is in G7, 1.6 is for Africa. So when we talk about the energy transition, this could not be a neutral concept. If we say that the usual formula, no one has to be left behind. So working in the transition to decrease the existing disparity in name of justice and fairness is an important component. The second one that I wish to pose to your attention is that today 16 countries in the world are net oil importers. 112 are net gas importers. 116 are net coal importers. So 86% of the population in the world, 8.1 billion, is net importer of fossil fuel. So these are the two dimensions that we should be able to tackle if we want to discuss energy transition that is in line with the Paris Agreement achievement and goals. And on this, I think, important, yes, it was a very nice day. We have learned from the president of this country. It was like history, the historical contract around 30 years ago, when they start to exploit gas and oil. And it presented as a new breakthrough. The gigawatts that are under the new contract that's been signed yesterday. So I think the country can work on upscale their capacity to support the world energy system. This is, in fact, we have been heard about how they are feeding the European Union needs with the gas, but they are moving fast to renewables. We will launch, in the occasion of the COP29, an initiative for Central Asia. That is very important to say. And my last comment, before possibly I can come back, is that we have to move from the dependencies to the integration. So without integration, the risks that to energy security will be there. If we move from this to integrate the system, the risk will be reduced. Thanks a lot.